It's like, who are you? Like for folks that may or may not know, like who you are, what you've accomplished in ranked and in contenders.
I'm kind of new to contenders. I mean, I've made like contenders in Overwatch 2, but it was like like the meme season where everybody just got in and stuff.
Yeah,
So it's not like a big achievement or whatever. But
sure.
I used to be like I'm really new to team play, right? I just like it's my first real contender season, but like I was known as a rank player, and I got known for playing kind of like DPS Moira in the very high elo, like just
Mm-hmm.
playing against all players, DPS Moira against all players and just winning. And to be honest, I was just playing for fun back then. But I kind of like, you know, well, I got very high. And
How high did you get?
for you mean for all roles or just like DPS role? I mean the
Just
support
more,
role.
just more.
Just Moira, I got 4.6.
Jeez, dude, that's crazy.
I
That's
think
equivalent
I
of
got.
like that's easily like top 100, top 50 now, if not higher now, right?
Oh, I was top five if I'm correct in
Jeez,
Overwatch
that's
one.
ridiculous.
Yeah, top five, and in Overwatch 2 I was rank one.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and I think I was the first one who ever hit 4.6 if I'm correct in Overwatch one.
I've never heard of anybody hitting 4.6, so I'm sure of it. So what? First off, what makes Moira unique? Like, what are the strengths of the hero that you were exploiting, and maybe what makes you better than the competition? I guess more specifically.
I would say like the biggest difference from other supports that Moira is like, or the biggest difference is that she has like very high mobility and very diverse playstyle, right? Where it's kind of like I compare it to Tracer, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
because sometimes you could be like, let's say, poking style. It's the same thing with Moira, where you're kind of like playing more safe, just like analyzing the situation. And sometimes you could just go for the all-in with the like where Tracer just flanks, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
did the same thing with Moira, where I just do all in, and I feel like that's what makes her different. Is that she's so diverse, like she has so many playstyles. Where
Sure.
Anna like she has low mobility, she has to focus on most of the time just one playstyle, and same with other supports. But Moira's like just because she has high mobility and high stats, she could just do like a bunch of playstyles.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So, would you say that I've always looked at Moira as like a budget Kiriko in terms of playstyle? Is that, do you think that that's accurate? Like, can take angles, can take flanks, DPS Kiriko, but it can also support her team.
Yeah, exactly. If there's like one big difference, um, like I would say Moira has higher sustain, right?
Yeah,
And
for sure.
she doesn't require a teammate to have mobility, where Kiriko needs a teammate
That's
to have
true.
mobility.
That's actually true.
Yeah.
That's actually true. So, what separates you from the rest? Because everybody knows there's a lot of other Grandmaster Moira players out there as OTPs, but you're the best and by a pretty decent margin. So, what separates you from those other players? Is it any one thing, or is it a couple of things that you just do better?
Well, okay, so it all started in the high school where I was doing my physics classes, and I don't want to sound like a nerd, but I kind of like applied a few physics rules into the game, right?
Okay,
And these few rules just made like increase my value, I would say, in the
sure.
game. And yeah, so that's just like most of it just comes from the physics rules that I would just apply in the game that others wouldn't. So obviously I would understand the game more and get like more more value.
Makes
So
sense. Makes sense. Okay, so I'm assuming that we'll take a look at those concepts once we actually take a look at the gameplay. Yes.
yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, do you want to just get started with some gameplay here? I guess here's a quick question for you. So,
Yes.
I guess we'll look into this more in the gameplay. Is there any one mistake that you would say most low, mid, or even high rank Moiras could benefit from fixing, or just something that they could be focusing on doing a little bit better? I know it's a little bit of a just one thing, but I'm curious if anything comes to mind immediately.
Okay. For low elos, from what I've watched, because I'm a coach like from my son as well.
Oh,
From what I've seen, yeah. From what I've seen, lower helos tend to be like doing less actions per minute on Mora, where they're either heal or they either damage. They don't kind of like do both at the same time. They don't utilize our lingering healing,
yeah,
just so they could increase their healing per second. And for higher helo, I would say they don't always like abuse either a mobility or like I would say their coal usage is not the greatest.
Okay, okay, makes sense. So for lower elos, mostly focusing on just getting min-maxing amount of healing, min-maxing amount of damage pressure that you can put out at all times. And then for
Yep.
higher elos, a little bit of not really leveraging the mobility, maybe not looking for as many plays as they could go for, and the coal usage a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Let's look at some gameplay here. So, where do you want to start with this? We can go over the whole map. We can do whatever.
Right now I was kind of like looking up my performance against a really good team. I don't know if you're familiar with the NA teams. That's Wisp.
Yeah,
are
I'm
pretty
familiar with
good.
this team. Yeah, this is a great team. One of the best contenders teams out there right now.
And that was my first contender match, I would say. And like I was deathless match. So I guess you could just like look take a look real quick against this comp, as it's very I mean this one at least was like very dominant.
Sure.
Or it is currently very dominant.
Yeah.
So
you want to start from scratch and just see like talk about like general play style here, because you guys are definitely on a bit of an awkward comp. So what basically for an intro, like this is kind of like the meta pro comp that the white team is running. This is a top tier contenders team. Magic 8-Ball, the guy that beat the Shock, right? So, you know, but you know, Rocket's one of the best tracers out there. Icy's a long-term tank pro. But so you guys are playing something a little bit unusual here. Why Moira in this composition? So I guess you're playing, looks like a little bit of Ramatra Torb foolishness here. So why Moira?
So here it's we came with this comp just like with the experience, I would say. We just train over and over again, and we found ourselves with like very successful when we just play this comp and force point.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, I just like whenever we I don't know, like it's like we just came with this kind of like the more we scrim, and then we found ourselves like having big success just forcing point, and I mean I just repeated myself, but that's just how it is. Like just like stack on point, and even if we get naded, we somehow find ways to survive, and then we just win so much point pressure. And whenever we have so whenever like they have flankers, it's very hard. It's very awkward for them to get to us with flankers, because it's kind of like the meta comp. So yeah,
makes sense.
And and I will show you how I play against flankers, right? So even like to make it even more awkward. So, all right, because that's kind of like one of my roles to deal with that as well, just to make it even more difficult for them to get to us.
Right.
As Moira, because I have like a aim lock or whatever. It's like my aim is very easy, so I could just like chip some HP out and pressure them. And
very annoying for them to deal with. I guess the way to look at Moira is it feels like you're either leveraging your mobility a little bit, or you're leveraging your survivability. You know, one or the other. Like you're very hard to kill, and you're also very mobile.
Yep. All right.
I notice that you're puffing your spray a lot here. Why is that?
Yeah. So here's the main place I with Moira. That I said before, the biggest Moira's mistakes was in lower elos. Is like I'm just like maximizing my value, right? Is I'm pre-healing. I'm using my passive, so for those who don't know, Moira has a passive, so whenever she like just tap target with her left click, her primary fire, she just like, it continues healing target for, they just buffed it to 3 seconds. So, yeah, and it's very strong for just like, you know, spamming this on your team, just very strong, like knowing where your team is. So like it gives you like a base idea of where a team is, and like forces you to play around that, but also like helps your flankers out whenever they're flanking, or like just in general, it's just very great to have this 24/7, because like you could just pre-heal your team and then be ready to do some damage and like maximize your actions per minute.
Makes sense. It's kind of like you give them like a temporary Lucio aura. Really, you spray them, you give them a little bit of healing. It lasts for a few seconds, and it was interesting because you said your flankers too, not just the people in front of you, but like let's say you spray your Reaper TPs for about 2.5, 3 seconds. He's gonna have that extra little bit of healing, and it's like you said, every little bit with Moira.
Yeah, exactly. It's like maximizing the character's value. So as you said, example, if the Reaper is here and I heal him, I pre-heal him, and then he TPs on here, he will still be healed for 3 seconds, which is maximizing my value as Moira here. Because obviously I don't have range to reach this area. Like, I mean, I could fade, but it was like, you know, dangerous. Yeah. So that's what I was doing here, just like healing my team, looking for some damage here, as well as like I know Sunrise meta, so I'm like perma right clicking whenever I can. So I'm just perma looking for to cancel hacks as Moira right now, because I know like I mean the character just the character just meta, so I know
Yeah,
they're gonna
makes
have more.
sense. Okay.
So I'm just ready for it. Pressuring their supports here.
Okay. So the damage was just a little bit of tickle to force them to rotate a
Yep.
little bit.
Okay.
So the heal orb there, what's that heal orb for?
Yep, here I'll just go back. Not the greatest healing orb. Like, as I could have like hit my whole team the left side here, but like I guess I would say like emergency healing orb. I would say I can even go back a little bit.
Sure.
So this is kind of like another physic rule. Yeah, I could aim a bit to the left here. It's like I mean it's more of a math rule actually. It's not physic. It's basically I don't want to sound like a nerd, right? Obviously.
No, go for it. I mean, but, that's obviously it's worked for you, so.
yeah. So I guess I could do. Shall I do a little drawing or?
Yeah, do it.
Alright. Let's say this is Moira. This is me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the floor. Okay.
Yeah.
So, actually, how do I show this? Okay. So let's say I want to throw an orb. Okay. Like this, like in a straight line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the mathematic rule, wait, under the color here, it kind of like you could just like imagine yourself a triangle like that.
Yeah.
Okay, with a little
90-degree angle there, yeah.
90-degree, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you could also do this. So if I'm drawing myself again here, let's say in the smaller here, and then I want to throw an orb like at somebody. Let's say somebody that's here, right, in a diagonal. Now you could also draw yourself a triangle like that.
I see.
Like in the opposite way. And the rule here is that I'm using the red line. That's my point in the triangle. Okay? And this line here, it's called the hypotenuse, I believe in English. Hypotenuse.
Yes. Yeah.
Hypotenuse, yeah. And in a triangle, it will always be longer than a longer line of in the triangle than this one here.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so it means that it will take like both lines, right? This line and this line both reaches the same x distance. So this is the x distance like here. But since this one is longer and the orb has a specific movement speed of 5 meters per second, it means that for reaching the same x axis, the bigger line, the red one, will take longer, right? So just to make it simple, it's basically if you want to make like if you want your orb to reach an area, like the fastest way would be like in a straight line.
Yes.
And if you want to hold an area, or just like make your orb go slower, just go in diagonal.
Right, and it's also going to go diagonal when it bounces off the floor too. So like if you want to heal somebody at a specific spot, or damage somebody at a specific spot, you're aiming at their feet. So it will have a slightly longer travel time on the way down and a slightly longer travel time on the way up, so you have more orb uptime. And that's obviously assuming that you don't have like a good bounce off of a wall, but most of the time
exactly. Like here, I don't know if you can still see my screen here.
Yeah, I can see it, yeah.
Obviously, they were kind of far, right? They weren't like thinking, they weren't like, if my orb just spawned, they weren't like being healed. So
right. So you need to get to them faster, so you send the orb directly at them.
Yeah, exactly. Just to give you an example, like if there's if you have a teammate that's frozen, let's say my Genji, my Reaper was frozen here, I would just throw an orb towards his feet, right?
Right, because he's right next to you. So it's more about orb uptime, and so use the hypotenuse angle here rather than about getting it fast. He's already there.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
So I know it can sound kind of simple for many, but sometimes you just don't think about it, and you need to like know that it exists to like constantly do it.
Right.
So it's very simple once you know it, but still.
It's like one of those things that's simple, but in the heat of the moment with so many things going on, you have to be able to make that decision, flick your crosshair down, aim it perfectly, and do it quickly. Like you even say here, and you're the best, that right here you aimed your orb a little bit too far to the right. It should have been a little bit farther to the left.
Yeah, like at the moment, as you said.
So even in the moment, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, makes sense.
All right. So here, right before I continue, I would say that the win count is just like literally like you can see as the backline is kind of like stuck in here, so they don't have really like any line of sight for their flankers. So if you just
Sure.
force out the flankers, you just win technically, and
Sure.
that's what we kind of like plan to do, just stack point and just like pressure point.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, 1 second.
Keeping your team alive.
Yeah, I don't have many juice though, so I need to be careful.
That's really where using that heal over time is really important
Yep.
because that's where most of your healing is coming from at this point in time. Now you're holding on to orb. Is that waiting for a trade to actually happen so you immediately have orb ready to go?
Okay. Can you repeat the question?
So I guess like right here, you're not using orb. Is that for waiting for the fight to actually trade so you can immediately heal orb as necessary?
You mean like I could just use my healing arm right now? You said.
I guess like right now you're waiting for the Winston to use bubble to use the heal orb.
I think. Okay, so I think I didn't need to use my healing arm right now because they were purple.
That's
So when
fair.
I just like went, it was hard, right? Because I cannot really balance it perfectly, so it just sticks to them.
Of
I mean,
course.
I maybe here, but then they will be forced to play in this area or whatever.
Of course.
Maybe it could be good, right? But it's like too much risk for no reason. So I just
Sure.
waited, and like it's so much risk, so you just never know like when you're gonna get those. So I guess it was like just playing safer.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Now you're also shooting the tracer here and not the Winston bubble. Higher return on investment, right? Like it does
Yep.
more than just shooting a what is it 700
Yep.
600 HP Winston bubble.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of like the same thing I said before earlier on. Against Sonotracer, so against this meta comp, you just like as Moira, you primarily want to pressure their flankers because that's their engage as their win con, and then they'll always be looking to engage on you on your squishies. So you just want to make sure like they're out perma.
Now this is versus dive. Do you change how you use your orbs when you're playing versus like let's say spam comp? How would you use your orb in that circumstance?
Let's say they have like I'm trying to find a comp. I mean, in this map pool I don't really remember a comp.
Sure, but even just like
Moira.
ranked, right?
Yeah, just in rank. Okay, so let's say like they have a pog comp, right? In circuit. Let's say I would play more in circuit. They have like Sig, Zen, Bap, like just pog in general. I would usually like just tap my healing on my teammates, right? So just like they're fully healed, and then I would just spam damage orbs. If I mean obviously the damage not too lethal, I will literally just like heal my team with my primary fire and then use a spam damage orbs. And the reason behind that is that I mean usually the damage is not like too much, and I could just like heal them, and then like without them like getting one shot obviously, but I could also like just like I'm sorry, I'm kind of tired.
No, you're good. So it's basically like you're using those damage orbs just to kind of harass the squishies that are shooting at you.
Yeah, I'm just farming cold because like the win con against that is like you could just farm cold really really fast and then go in with the rush at the core with the coal, and like well not everybody is like aim god and they won't just headshot one shot everybody, you know.
Yeah,
so
makes sense.
That would be that would live with the how you play against poke.
Okay. Makes sense. All right.
So yeah, so yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, you always have different playstyle against every other comps, but against Sora Tracer, we just found like, or personally, I found myself like far pushing the flankers, and like we can get back to this later on, but like baiting EMP with Cole, we just like found ourselves with so much success. I mean, against this comp with Moira, I would say.
Right, because you could fade EMP now.
yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
So I don't know if I did it on this map, on this match, but I know for sure like I would just like every time I would just call it and it would work like 90% of the time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, even against better teams.
And you even see Overwatch League players playing Moira now sometimes. We see it occasionally.
Repeat that.
We even see like Overwatch League players playing Moira now. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, Kiriko comps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And yeah, so I forget where we were actually. Yeah. So what we could do as well against this comp, another win con, is you could either bait EMP with gold. I don't know if it happens in this match, but you could also do like first tracer or first summer out, right? Because they're
Mhm.
flankers and they get first out, and then go in with gold. That's another call we had very often. Is Sombra whenever she would just uncloak, we would just say like shoot Sombra first out, and then she's out, and then just call the core like here.
Right. So clear the flankers and push back line.
Yeah, exactly. So that
Makes
would
sense.
be a play here. All right.
Makes sense. Okay. Let's see.
So right now I'm pushing the tracer. Oh wait, here. And notice how I'm following my orb here, right? So I don't like uh get forced to waste my fade and then find myself in an outcode position where I could just get 3-2-1 by Sombra Tracer. Because
Makes
like
sense.
this comp is like very. I mean, as a support player, it's very. I think all supports are traumatized by this comp right now. By now, so yeah. So like yeah, just be careful with that and try to align my healing when you can, whenever you can. Okay. Notice how I'm also like alternating between my left and my Purifier and Certain
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
It's just like maximizing the value, maximizing your all charge, because obviously Moira has no utility, but she has like a strong ultimate that builds very fast. So
Right. Right. Okay.
you want to make sure you utilize that.
Nice little jump there. That was cool.
And
Okay.
now I should be. Oh yeah, I'm sorry
Yeah,
for
I
the
was gonna
motion.
say. I was gonna say no, no, no. The other neat thing now is that like the damage orb regenerates your
Oh yeah,
resource, right? So like, is that something that you ever leverage in situations like? Because like right now you're lacking for resource right now. So would you be looking
yeah.
for damage orb here?
Yeah, exactly. I just waiting for them to come because I don't like it's so much tracer, right? You just never know where they are. I
True.
mean, obviously you could know where tracer is, but Sombra you could just like uncloak IQ and like it's very fast
Right. That's
and
true. That's
right
true.
you could just get 3-2-1 on. But yeah, I usually do this when I'm very stacked. Like right now I could do it, but I still don't know where they are. Like
Right. Waiting for them
the
to show
back
up.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I need to look up for both like Sombra tracers and where their team is, where their core is, so like I could actually get some juice back and some all charge. But yeah, that's something I forgot to mention, like against poke, where you could just spam damage drop because it actually refills your juice.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, I
Cool.
forgot. Okay, let's do this now.
Like right there, you hear the Winston, so you're like, all right, damage orb, free resource,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Makes
Make
sense.
sure you peel your team again and first flankers out and get some all charge and like pay attention to the flankers. Like here, the call again was the first point here, as we found ourselves much more success. Last surprise out. That's good.
Again, focusing on that DPS because that's
Yeah,
where
and
there's a heal orb. Yeah.
yeah, I'm following my orb here. I'm playing
Yeah.
with my orb.
Yeah. Following that orb feels really
Yeah,
important.
and now yeah, I would just use my cold because otherwise I would have fate. Like I'd have to use fate to reach him, and maybe he would have died by random stuff. And we can just win. I mean, technically, we just like tempo, if that makes sense. Just tempo the point and
Yeah.
like just win the fight, obviously. So maybe I wouldn't have to cold here. I would say it was the greatest call, but at least it's I'm playing safe. At least let's say that.
Feels like you're very attentive to where that Sombra is, they can't get that
Yeah.
hack.
See how the target priority here. I just like swap on the
Yeah.
Lucio
Yeah.
thing.
Following your team's target. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
heal orb.
Using the rebound, obviously, just to
Oh, yeah,
go
that's huge.
nice value. And then now, here, why it wasn't the greatest call is because now they have like a bunch of, I mean, EMP that's a free win ultimate, and I'm not really helping my team by just like, I mean, me using call here is kind of troll, I would say. Like, yeah, at the moment it seemed really good, but and maybe like I don't know, maybe I got forced to use it because my Lucio had like was here stuck here whatever. But the best option I would say was just keeping Cole here because it's kind of like a very great counter to EMP, even if it doesn't seem like it, right?
Right.
Because it seems like very slow. Because you have the channeling cooldown timer and whatever, but it's actually very counter to EMP because you just like bait it and then kill your team with it. So
Right.
the play here was me to keep my ult here, and then like you had two plays here. just find Sombra first out, then push the core with Cole, so you actually have like a free kind of like free engage, or you could just like bait TMP and call it with your team. So just call bait TMP 3-2-1 go whatever like on the core, and then just be like just be ready for Sombra show up. So you could just like fade EMP, like stand behind your team, and then call your team after like your fade. And it's very important to engage first with call, because otherwise you have like the channel of your fade and the channel of your call, where where both timers stacked up together, like it's just too much for your team to survive, and they just die throughout EMP's damage. Yeah, so that's the two plays here you could play with Moira. So first one was first Sombra out, then push the core with Cole. Or second one is bait TMP, and I mean save your Cole. I mean save your fade, right? You just like walk and Cole, and like try to either here for Sombra's right click or Sombra's EMP. But she's most likely gonna EMP, because most Sombras just do that and they don't like just hack you.
Right. Makes sense. So you're either forcing the EMP or you're trying to clear the Sombra out first, then go kill the backline.
Yeah, and sometimes if you find yourself in a position where you don't have an angle, right? Like let's say this Ana just hides here. Obviously, I wouldn't like. It's not the greatest call or whatever, but if she's hiding here and you have like nobody to call on, just try to like do a little like recon with your call. Because 30 meters is very long, and you could just like recon Sombra out.
A little bit of spy check. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. So that at least you're still getting value out of it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So that would be it. Now I don't remember what happens next, because it was my first contenders match of the season. Yeah, okay.
You're like mid drop, and you're like too slow to fade there, but you follow your heal orb.
Yeah, following my heal orbs, I just leave, and I don't use my fade here. Pretty sure I didn't use it. But also the plan here was just like, okay, we go back point, first point, and I guess that was the plan here. I guess, and just force some else.
Install more.
Yep. Not the greatest fade here, but I guess I'm back into positioning.
Yeah. Notice that you're not really spending too much time right-clicking that Winston, because he's just not going to die, right? So just focus on keeping yourself alive.
Exactly. Because like Moira's damage is like so low, and he has, especially when he has armor as well, they're just doing like taking damage. So you just want to increase your value per second, just you're going with your primary fire, because like it's higher stats.
Right. So if you're gonna right click, don't just focus on tanks. Trying to find a squishy that's available is like you're gonna get the same amount of resource, and the damage is gonna matter so much more. Like I said, even with armor, it's miserable, right? Imagine right clicking a Rhine shield. How long would that take to meet?
Exactly. This is why it's so important. Just forcing flankers out with Moira. I mean, especially they don't have armor and they're very squishy, so they're very easy to force out. But Monkey is so hard to force out on yourself.
Makes sense.
It's much more reliant just forcing out flankers than Monkey, because he's a tank. So here, I guess I went for damage orb here, because I was just so safe, and I just like free value out of it. It's a corridor. It's free. It's a free open space.
Get on squishies, all sorts of juice.
Yeah, I was safe, and I guess we just win the last point here.
Okay, makes sense. Now we have a little bit more. I have a little bit more time. Do you have any other fight?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I could show you one example of which I remember was the which one was it? It was.
Do you have anything versus like a slightly different composition? If you don't, it's fine, because I know what the meta is. So it's like I don't know if you do, but if not, it's fine.
Yeah, probably. I know like there's one with the ram comp. I'm pretty sure on the one I want to show. I think there's this one. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, it was against Timeless. It's a bit different. I just want to check real quick. Yeah, they're not playing so much Tracer or Ana. All right.
Yeah,
this could be different.
Sure. Yeah. A little bit of our brawl, a little bit of our poke. Kind of definitely a different perspective.
Yeah. And usually we play Ana here with Ana Lucio, and we just like I mean, we play Ana Lucio here with the same combo, and we just like I play Hannah here on this icon, then we just wait for them to come. But we just like we were like 88 ADHD's
Alright.
gamers, just wanted to have fun and go fast, so we don't care.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
All right,
I get it.
all right. So also I have an example of using your fade with the call, just to have like
Okay.
yeah. At the end, I will show you. It's like with the buff, you just like abuse or first cooldowns out, like EMP or Maywall, or like like just cooldown in general, and then just fade, and that's just kind of it. It's like a
Okay.
bonus.
Makes sense.
All right.
Makes sense.
I'm pretty sure we trolled first fight though, because like we had like miscommunication. So you will see me
That's
doing
fine.
like
Like I said, I can just edit this stuff out, just
yeah,
focus on the good stuff,
yeah. So here's the same thing as we said earlier on is the poke comp where both teams are kind of poking really hard. I just wanna spray my team with my purifier and like let my healing passive heal my team. So then I can just like spam damage up and get call really fast and then push that call with call.
Sure. It feels like if you spam your damage orbs with this composition, you'll be able to keep your resource up pretty much like all the time.
Yeah, and the damage is not too high. I mean, obviously, I could still like keep my healing armor just in case if it's like too lethal, but usually it doesn't really happen very often.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was well, I missed my damage or whatever. We all make mistakes.
You got a balance there at least.
Yeah, get some values. Getting poked a bit. I'm playing the greatest like for LOS, obviously.
So it's like here you can't really right click anybody because it's Colosseo. It's just a terrible
Yeah.
map. So you just have to wait for these squishies to present themselves to this brawl to break out.
Yeah.
This map isn't real, man. I hate this map so much.
Yeah, I hate it as well.
Remove the glass. Imagine if they remove the glass, mate. Like seriously, like how much better would this map be? You could like actually take angles. Like,
Yep. Yeah, I agree actually. And here, like here you can notice when I'm kind of like I was running low on juice, or like I had like opportunity to just like refuse my juice a bit, so I just flanked, get some juice back, not looking necessarily for a kill, just like all charge and some juice back.
Right.
Just in case like I don't have this opportunity again.
Makes sense. Yeah, and you get a good bounce there, maybe.
No,
you didn't. Ouch.
I got unlucky. But yeah. Not
He
just our
Sonicked you.
what's up?
He Sonicked you.
Yeah, well, in some scenarios, right, I'm just saying you could always fade to drop the Sonic, but it doesn't happen very oftenly. So yeah, just in case, like if it's really important, you could do it, but it's like
Sure,
it almost never happens. Right, and just see, this I'm like always throwing my damage orb in like anywhere where I know like they're gonna be. I'm not like throwing damage orbs in the random spots like here, or whatever.
Right,
it's like
you're looking for them first.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Now I just can't wait to see a reaction from my call here. Here, yep. Get out. If I quick crank, you're back into position.
Right.
And most people would say like, but you're actually trading. I mean, you're just feeding Babsalt, Bat's window with your damage and stuff. I mean, yeah, you are, but technically, I would say like the call is much stronger. Like in a specific situation, then here I would say call was much better than window. So trading window with call, I mean trading like all charge wise, I would say like call was better.
Sure. I also think it's like you're putting out pressure. You're annoying. You're forcing the BAP to heal his Hanzo or whatever. It's like that's time that BAP isn't shooting damage, and so yeah, it's like a neutral trade of pressure. But if you didn't throw any damage orbs, that Hanzo BAP or whatever would be a little bit more focused on doing damage. Maybe there's a slightly higher chance of them hitting a shot. It's not just about the ult trade,
Yeah, I was just obviously like a story of applying pressure and stuff. Yeah. That's very important. Especially with Moira, right? We wish has like a damage orb. If there's an enemy, like say an Ana standing in a corridor here, out in the day room here, you want to make sure like you pressure, because like you could either force nade or like either force her to walk back or just retreat. So it's very good. You could always use that in mind, just for pressure. Yeah, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right. Then I guess I get scared of my
yeah, I saw that coming in. Yeah.
Okay, so here the call with like I remember like in Discord was just rush the core with Cole, right? Enzo, because Enzo has low mobility, just like rushing with Cole and just like walk over the wall, even the gonna wall. I mean, the maze here or whatever. But we kind of like I don't know. Let's say we're not on the same page. You will
Yeah,
notice it.
I got you.
Where I would just go to Enzo here, and I was the only one on him. So I
Right.
guess
The
I'm
Ram's not even Nemesis form right now.
yeah, and they may wall here. The Bap is I guess he's here. He could still win. I mean, yeah, he could still lamp, but I would say the best was me swapping on the Ram here, because there are two reasons why I should have swapped on the Ram here. Even if the call was Enzo, it's like just like adapt, right?
Yeah.
And here the best was going on Ram because he has no LOS for Bap sealing, or
Right.
like slightly one, but at the moment
Not
maybe
very
like
good.
Kofa would have played. Yeah, at the moment maybe Kofa wouldn't like standing on his LOS for healing or whatever. But also because everybody on my team was on the Ram here.
Right, right. So following the target. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I should have add up and just like swap target and heal my team, just damage, apply some damage as well on the Ram here. I would say that was the play.
Makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Well,
So that I would say that was my mistake here, but it was like going Nazo wasn't necessarily a bad play here. Yep. And
yeah.
also
Just no, go ahead.
notice has what's that?
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So notice how one very important thing now is that usually with the before the cold buff, right, where you could fade, you would just like perma use both of your CDs and then like call like
Mm-hmm.
most of the time. But now with the buff, what you could do is just like call first, walk, and then see try to bait some cooldowns, then fade in.
Right. So see what you got first. So use the coal.
Yeah,
See what happens in the enemy response. Then either you can fade defensively, or if you see an opportunity, you can fade aggressively and continue to coal.
yeah. So it works with EMP. At the end, I will show you an example where the I think I saved us the game if I'm correct from this one, just by holding fade and like baiting. I think it was Maywall. I'll show you at the end.
Okay.
But yeah, it's always great to have this in mind. So it's like you're giving your team under winning cone just by baiting something.
Right. It makes sense.
All right, I guess I'm just going for fun here. Okay.
Okay. Get back in.
All right. Again here, as my playstyle is just farming your call 24/7, so I'm just throwing damage or perma, unless like my team is like needing some help. But like against, it's not against Summer Tracer where I had to say my or more oftenly because like I don't find myself like being dove like being flanked on, being doved on, where like I'm much let's just say I'm much safer and I don't need my healing orb for myself just to live a dive.
Right.
So
Okay. Makes sense.
like here it was he needed some heals, so I threw a healing orb here. Yeah, I get it here.
Again, healing orb. Right.
Yep.
And it feels like the healing orb also allows you to kind of focus on damage briefly too, because of
Yeah,
doing the
exactly.
healing for you.
I would say like I just noticed I'm kind of like throwing healing orbs in the mid fight because everybody's like stacked and taking more damage. But like, in long range, like in pre-fights, poking range, like throw damage orbs. I would say.
Okay. Makes sense.
From it, I just witnessed what I'm doing. Yep. And here I wanna like when you win the fight with Moira, you wanna like make sure you're not in cart for two reasons. So first of all, you could get some ultra recall because like it's like a really good win con with your team, or you could just like get high and get like ready for yeah. So I have a rollout here. I don't know if I show my rollout. Maybe I do.
Like off the stones there, like a bounce or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, so you can't jump high just like with normal fade. So you have a fade jump with this. It's very easy. I mean, just walk and like jump, and then it's gonna propulse. It's gonna boost your character on like vertical
Nice.
movement. Yeah, and then you can stand here and just pressure it, right? So it's always a plus for your team. as we said like early on with pressure, it's not like a big pressure, but it's not nothing.
Buys
So
time, buys a little bit of resource. Make sure that,
yeah,
especially if you're spamming mid damage orbs, you're going to be full resource going to that fight too.
hmm sure, it's a sure thing, and also like it prevents people. Let's say like Enzo wants to stay here, right? I'm just saying random things, right? But it's like somebody wants to stay here, they have to fight you, and like there are always a risk of losing the 1v1 because you have Cole, right? You could just damage orb and Cole and force either support's cooldown for support's attention. You
Right.
could like get a kill. It's like standing here is opening you so much doors, so much opportunities, and I feel like that's a a macro, let's say a macro to have on
Sure.
most maps, on most where you win a team fight. Like don't AFK, don't be on autopilot, and always try to always open your windows, having your doors or like your plays opportunities,
Right.
and by standing up like that, doing some crazy rollouts to like get ready and
Yeah,
well,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
yeah. So don't just AFK on point. Oh yeah, this fight I remember I was a bit unlucky because I played well, but at the end I kind of like you'll see. I made it, and it like one misstep, and I died from it.
Oh no. There's the BAP window. Healer because you don't want him to use ice block.
Yep, and also why I didn't go here at the start here, it's because like the point was way
Right, too
too
far
close
away.
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
and even if like they had too much space for me to handle that, and then it was too much as risk, if that makes sense. Because my team wasn't out yet, so it was
Makes
like
sense.
yeah, so it was too
Too far, yeah.
too risky.
Oh
Yeah, that's what
wow.
I'm.
Is that a
Yeah,
damage
that's
boosted
what.
body shot or no? Wow, that was crazy. Oh, he took the
Yeah,
flank. Ouch.
yeah, with the window here. That's what I said. Like I didn't one misstep, but otherwise we could have gone back with Cole and maybe like cope for a play here. So like let's say here if I lived, I guess we could have engaged first with Cole, or like okay, actually no, never mind. I remember actually yeah, no okay. So the call here was 3-2-1 the top left here after window. So right before the window, the call was to just like we do this very often with Moira comp and Sorge and Lucio. It's like basically me as Moira when I would call, I would just or like even if I don't have call, I would just like do the fade jump here,
Yeah.
land here, and then like just brawl them. And same with Lucio and Sojourn.
Yeah.
Sojourn could just like overclock, slide here, and we all land like here at the same time, and he would just like clear high ground, and we would just win a fight.
That's a cool play. Cool play.
Yeah, it has very high win rate. Just like it could have played bad here, unfortunately. But that was the play here. So like, just in case, it's kind of like a little bit macro coaching for team play in case it like ever helps somebody.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now against that, you always want to look like for mistake like that,
Right. Right.
where I'm just pressuring, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
It's so many things happening right now. It's like hard to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Heal orb's
I'll
good.
just.
Oh, there's the jump right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, there it is.
And that just allows you to get to on top of that squishy.
If I didn't do the jump here, the bat would have died. So that's like one
Right.
little play here.
Right.
So many things just happened. I would say like the main the her win color like a call was like try to when you're like pre-fighting, you're not like really engage first. You just want to like analyze where the team is and try to spot a target that's like vulnerable to a dive to a rush. I mean from Cole and Lucio speed. So that's like one win con with Moira. Like it, let's say it happens very frequently where there's an Enzo here just like poking around, or like a Bap that's just poking, whatever. Just like I usually just fade first, damage drop, then Cole, because like he's not like a god or whatever. It's like they're gonna land headshot
Right.
if it's an
Right. Right.
Enzo.
You don't
So
need
you
the
could just
fade.
ego. Yeah, even in contenders, right? That's contenders. You could just ego them, and it works most of the time. Let's just say that.
Huh.
All right.
as these fights kind of devolve, you're supporting your squishies, but you're also looking to kill their squishies too.
Yeah, exactly. So
Like
any
you said,
losses
that killing
here?
that BAP, I think you guys lose this fight if you don't kill that BAP.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And notice how I'm just like fading around here, like playing corners as well. So I just live and still get value out of
Right.
it. Because I could have just like stayed here and then just die, or like stayed here and then let the BAP live and my team die. So I'm always trying to look for plays, and even if it looked very hopeless, just always look for it, and you never know what happens.
Right. Exactly.
So
Okay.
yeah, and at like last case scenario, you're just like building your call again for another win con. Yeah.
Sure.
And here notice are I'm already like going for plays here, right?
Right.
So we said either for juice, I'm pretty sure I'm full, whatever. I'm either for juice, either for recon, either for space, pressure, all charge, all these reasons here. Just opening
Makes
opportunities.
sense.
Even if you don't stay like very long here or whatever. Yeah,
Right.
okay, that's
Just
not.
annoy
Yeah,
that
I see.
Hanzo, you know?
Yep. Yeah, that was too risky. I just heard him. I just recon technically. Oh.
Nice fade. Squeeze up through that gap.
Oh yeah, that's also like another tag with fade. So basically, I mean, now most players know that, but the few players don't. Is when you're walking forward, you're like you have a higher movement speed than when you're walking backwards, right?
Right.
I think it's like 10%. I'm not sure. But it's like the same thing with any movement speed ability. So if you're fading, let's say you want to reach like the farthest, like the biggest distance, you want to make sure you're looking towards the direction you're fading, and then jumping at the end for extra distance. Because like if you
Okay.
were, yeah, so if you were looking backwards like that and just fading, you're gonna get shorter distance than if you're walking.
Oh, so
Or
you looking the direction that you fade allows you to go a little bit further with the fade, plus the jump at
yeah,
the end to keep the momentum going.
exactly.
Nice.
And that's on fade, but it's also on call. And I use that tech very oftenly. Sometimes you see me like when I'm calling like that, and I'm just trying to escape instead of like just pressing S and like damaging whatever like somebody. Sometimes I would just like look away, press W, then just run away like that, just for extra
Interesting.
movement speed, just so I could reach corners faster and live like more consistently.
Interesting.
Um,
Interesting.
and then one more thing is that you could also like dodge ultimate with it. So in Overwatch 1, when Genji was meta, and before like the Cole nerf, like the movement speed nerf with Cole, um, I would do it in the rank like, and it would work like let's say 80% of the times. Is let's say like Genji's blading, right? With Nano Blade when Overwatch 1 was Nano Blade meta, uh, and he would just like dive you. Let's say I would just like call in a safe distance because I didn't have fade back then in Watch One during call. Let's say like the Genji is on the red core and he has dash and they have nano blade. I would just like call here and of course his dash on me or whatever, and then I would just turn away and then like
Run.
exactly because you could outspeed is a blade speed.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
and that's two ults for one. So I would just do this 24/7. It would work so well in rank.
That's
Um,
super fun.
Yeah, so now the call, I haven't tried it in Watch 2 because it's not meta and the call movement speed nerfed. I mean, yeah, the movement speed has been nerfed, but I'm still doing it for like, let's say Doom ult. If Doom ults, I just look away. If I'm calling look away, then I press W like that. So like I take less damage, I give him less HP from his passive. Same thing with Pulse from Tracer. I look away like that and whatever, and so on.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so it's a mechanic you could just abuse with Moira. Because like the character is so simple, so you need like every little tech like that to increase your value.
Right.
Yeah. So we can keep going. Oh yeah, I think here we just die, unfortunately. Oh, we don't.
Well, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. So here I would say the call was a bit too fast. I would say why here, and the beat as well. Here I should have been like trying to get a few like some juice a bit. Like me playing here is kind of troll. Oh, okay, I walked up a bit, but like you see how I had no juice and we're just standing here. It's kind of like I would say just panicking. I should have just like get some juice here. It's a little minor mistake. Um, but yeah, the win con here was just like calling first and then beating. Why that is that obviously they're gonna use beat when I recall. So we called it. They're just gonna use beat. So you're gonna engage, welcome them first with call, like initiate the team fight, and then use beat so you could like live the entire thing.
Right.
And yeah, so that was like one win we could have here, and that's exactly what we did. But he beat it a bit too early. Yeah, I'm just escorting my tank in the back line here. Oh, it's whatever. It's a fine beat, I would say.
Squishy.
Yeah, just run at the core of the back line and then fight back to point. And when the fight was, we got it. Okay. Yeah, and now yeah, I'm going back here again. Do this 24/7. Try to recon.
Hey, there it is.
Like that. That's too dangerous. Whatever. It's like sometimes we get more value in this match and get like much value, but it's still like a little pressure, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
See, it's like the poking phase, so I just like get some all charge here. And the tech here, notice how I just like fade at the last second of my ult before I get frozen. It's like maximizing the value before you get frozen.
Right, true. Okay, makes sense.
Because like I could have just faded, and maybe my teammate here needed the heals like.
Yeah, you heal in the mail, and then right before you get frozen, you fade out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it didn't work because obviously we lost the fight here. They used so much, but
yeah.
It's like a good habit to have. I don't know what I'm doing here. I guess we're like going for the win here.
Yeah. Maybe it's still winnable?
Yeah. It was a risky fade, but when I did that, but it's like if I didn't fade, I would have lost anyway.
Right.
So I had to do it. Yeah, all right. Hogging corners as well is a very good habit to have, especially a character like Moira where you have short range. Okay. And here, yeah, exactly. I was about to say here. I would say like I'm trolling by just standing on point. Just always make sure you make space and like open doors and make pressure.
There's the damage orb, resource, a little bit of pressure.
Yep. You're pinging as well, same pinging the team. And now I call like dive on the squishies here. So I just like force cooldowns and like make pressure. Maybe I could have healed them. But now it's like too late for me to like just change healing.
Right,
let's see what happens. Yeah. I would say that's a miracle, just forcing beat. I mean not beat, I mean lamp, whatever. And we got point here.
Yeah, so you're distracting them at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't necessarily go for the kills here, but we just like we push them back here so they couldn't touch. That's another win con. That's another thing. I mean, that's something we do very often on push. Especially like on Kiri or Moira, where I have like free get out of jail card. I often like push very very deep, and I hold them here. So like my team can just like freely push and like hold checkpoint. And if they push me, I just like go back and. Last case, I get some all charge. I got some time, and that's like always the plus to have.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Oh,
almost.
You didn't see this.
Yeah.
All right. Now I should be looking for some all charge here. I don't know why I'm setting here.
Oh, anti-synergy, the main wall.
Oh yeah, okay. I now remember. Like the call was wait for the team to come back, then push back here. Unfortunately, we lost somebody.
Okay.
So that was the play here. That's why we weren't standing here. I guess we could have dropped here. That would have been good as well. But whatever. We had Sojourn, so we don't really know the greatest play. Okay. Gonna spam damage for Cole. Yep. Make sure you peel your team. That's unfortunate. Pretty sure I die here as well. Yeah, well. It seems very hopeless for now.
Yeah, so you're just kind of stalling, yeah.
And it could have worked what I just did, I think. Alright. It could have worked because like you're still like bringing people on you, so like your team is less pressured, and since you're like a character with higher self healing and stuff, it could have worked. You could have been. You're still building a call as well. It's like it's a 50-50. Obviously, I would have gotten so much value if I lived, and I would have gotten like, I mean, well, I guess you get the point. It's like
Yeah, could have
it's
lived
just
in there. Yeah,
50-50.
yeah, I got it.
But they get the point anyway. So like it's 8 seconds if I'm correct before the points are activated. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure.
You guys are able to stop before lead. Oh, that's unfortunate.
I remember telling myself the dragon is probably coming here, but I still decided to just ego because I was pressured. And yeah, I would say we all make mistakes.
Of
That
course.
dragon was pretty obvious now from the replay, but we would have lost the.
Yeah, you guys had to fight for that, yeah.
Alright. And I'm pretty sure I choose my call wrong again here, because I got afraid it was like we'll have lost that. I wasn't trusting my team, I guess, at this moment. Yeah, and see how here I look toward the direction when I was fighting, so I get extra distance.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I did see that.
That's true, right? That's a good habit to have. Yeah, here I shouldn't have called here. It's just like, okay, I'm a bit like I'm embarrassed by this call because this looks so troll and it is very troll, and it is really bad for me.
Well, it feels like the fight wasn't 100% won for sure. Like you're still losing people, so maybe it's just like, oh shoot, we can't lose this. Like last fight, maybe.
Yeah, and now like I felt so bad at myself. I mean, I had to call really fast again.
Huh.
Yeah, at least you see at the end I brought myself back from it. Yep. Okay.
Is it early?
So here.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I mean, just like in team, the macro for the team here is that we notice how their ram just like rested is slow here on me. So it's like a free push on their core. I mean, he doesn't have a push. Like who's gonna slow a ram from going in?
Right.
So we just
exactly.
that was the play here, and I just like do default where I just heal, and I want to see something real quick. Yeah, I kind of did it a bit, but at the end I stopped because I saw like it was like worthless. Is I use another physic tech here. It's called the Doppler effect. It's basically like you want to walk. Okay, if you're walking towards a target, like let's say a teammate here, if you would walk towards. Okay, how do you approach this? If you're standing still and just pressing primary fire, it would be 70 healing per second.
But if you
you're
move
walking
towards a target, more of the projectiles hit the target.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's how like the character is coded, or left click. So like it's like little projectiles, and increasing the amount of little projectile that your teammate is receiving, so increasing the healing per second. It could reach like 80, 82 healing per second, I believe, if you're working towards, and it stacks with speed, reduces speed, or if you're like dropping from high ground, like let's say you're healing here, dropping, then healing.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you
was
walk towards a target while spraying, at least until you get to the target, your healing is slightly higher than it quote unquote should be. If you're pulling backwards because you're increasing the duration or the duration the projectiles have to travel, then the healing per second is slightly lower while you're moving away.
Yeah, and like this tech here is usually this the tech I didn't like realize I was doing it. I was saying replay, but it saves people like it's like a game changer tech because this tech here is kind of like a breakpoint. Is a teammate is gonna live or die sometime, and that breakpoint can save games or like team fights. So yeah, and I remember like like just saving the game like very often with this deck here. So it's like underrated deck, I would say, and I don't find all players doing it 24/7. They kind of know it, at least from what from the all players I've asked, but I don't know. I feel like it's just underrated.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, so this is another deck I use like that kind of like makes me different, I would say.
Sure.
I just tried to Parma do it. Now I said it was kind of like worthless, so I just went back and
right.
Yeah.
And then you're focusing the squishy here.
Yeah,
Get that damage
squishies,
out. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Now the mid fight, just when it lives, you're healing her or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another win con here, you want to make sure you have call very fast. See, I'm
Right.
doing it 24/7. Oh, that was a bad, or I would say.
Got scared because of the Hanzo.
Yeah, I'm pressured, right? It's like my first real contender season, so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
pressured.
There's some
Free
more.
healing my team, standing here in case like anything bad happens. And now the win con here was just like leaving the burst or whatever, and then we go back with call.
Yeah. You guys have Blizzard
We had my
advantage
ult as
too.
well. Yeah. So here, what's gonna happen here if I just fade like that? They're gonna wall,
Right.
and then you never know. Like they could sustain with window, and then we have nothing else, or they could sustain with beat. And well, that's what I did here, right? Where I just like saved my fade because I didn't know. I knew they were gonna wall, so I just fade an opportunity, like or like let's say a door or whatever. Like yeah, that's an opportunity. Just like in case that happens. If they don't, well, they just like get poked out and they kind of die. I would say maybe the damage is not high enough, but whatever. We could just escort my team on them. So let's see what happens here.
Cold and
They wall me.
wall. Yeah.
They wall me. So I'm forced myself. I'm found here. I'm forced myself to fade out so I get value here.
Ooh. Ooh, that was cool. So you use the ult, force a cooldown, then fade with the ultimate to follow up.
Exactly.
That's
Because I knew, yeah, I knew like she didn't wall for very long, so I would just say, all right, call just to force cooldown up, and then just go for the backline here. So we just go to squishies,
makes sense.
and my team could just like walk as well, so I like hit the enemies and my team as well. Yeah, because otherwise like if I just sustain some ultimates here, like that's so much coming up. And it was last fight.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
so
Let's see the W here.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's pretty
sick,
much
dude.
it for this match.
That's it. Congrats on the W.
Thank you.
Well, I guess is there any main or major points that you feel like you go? I think we've got plenty of gameplay here, so
Yeah. If you want me to do like a small recap of the text or whatever, like the mindset, is that it?
Sure. Just a quick like 2-minute recap would be fine.
So the text we used was like the triangle one was the Pythagora, right? For slower or faster orbs.
Right.
That's very important to have in mind.
Yeah.
And you had the Doppler effect, which we showed at the end for the increase healing per second, increasing
towards the target to increase your healing per second. Yeah.
Yep. We had the fade movement speed, right? Or the call movement speed abuse with walking forward. For increased movement speed, increased distance. Same thing with call, where you could just like dodge some ultimates or some spells with it, the movement speed. You had like to make sure that your team perma has like your primary fire passive with the lingering healing effect. So you know where your team is standing, and you like they have the increased healing for flankers or whatever. It's very important.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate. Well, go ahead. Did you have one more?
No, I would say that's like the pretty main things. That's very important.
Sure. Well, mate, I really appreciate your time. Do you have anywhere where people can follow you on Twitch, YouTube, or just harass you elsewhere?
Yeah, we have Twitter and Twitch. It's Nolan Coronavi.
Okay.
I don't like. My name is weird, but whatever.
I'll have to plug your stuff, mate. All right, let me finish the recording.